It's capitalism. It's all capitalism. It's capitalism. It's capitalism. It's all capitalism. It's capitalism. It's capitalism. It's all capitalism. And that's capitalism. It creates a self-care paradox. The self-caradox. Hi. Hello. And welcome. Welcome to another Marty's Minute MENitations. To you new souls who are visiting, thank you for coming. Thank you for being brave and courageous and taking your soul into this space. Marty can feel your soul here. He can feel your energy here with him. It's a little bit hesitant. It's okay. It's okay. Marty can sense that hesitation, but he also senses a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of interest, maybe a little bit of arousal. Not arousal like that, not like a sexual arousal, right? Arousal doesn't always have to be, sexual, right? It could be something else. It could be, I'm looking at a flower and I get aroused by it. Or, well, that doesn't work either, right? It still sounds like the word arousal, right? Or it could be, Marty's reading a book, right? It's just a standard old book, right? It's War and Peace, right? Which he's never read, so he can't bring up a character from it. He can assume that maybe he's reading one of those war scenes, right? And it's bloody and it's awful and it's violent. If there's a war scene in War and Peace, Marty would assume that there's a war scene in War and Peace. Otherwise, why would you name it War and Peace? Unless it's symbolic and metaphorical, which Marty understands. Marty understands metaphor and symbolism, okay? But maybe, he's reading a scene out of that book, right? And it's bloody and it's gory and there's a lot of screaming and wailing and injury and gunfire, right? And maybe that arouses Marty. See, no, it still doesn't work that way. No. But look, arousal can mean something else. It doesn't have to be sexual, okay? Okay. So it's a beautiful day out, right? It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a little hot, right? And everybody's going outside. They're going for a walk. They're taking in the vitamin D. They're seeing the birds, the butterflies. Children are out playing, right? And nothing is more exciting than watching children play without limitation, right? They're out there playing, and they do that thing with the fire hydrant where they open it up and it's spewing water everywhere, and the kids are in there and they're getting all wet and they're giggling and they're laughing and they're having a great time. They all take their shirts off because they're free children, right? And Marty's sitting outside and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's such a fun time. I'm so aroused by those children." Okay, well that sounded better in my head, and then when I started saying it, it was a little off. I understand that, but you understand where Marty's going with that, right? I could sense that your spirit's a little bit aroused, and that's okay. If it's sexual, that's okay too. Like, Marty's not going to judge. If that's where if you need to come to Marty's Minute MENitations to experience a sexual experience, that's okay too, right? Marty is actually kind of flattered by that, right? I'm flattered that you would be so aroused by Marty, right? And if you are aroused, Marty is single. Marty is looking for a partner in life, a goddess, as it were. So, if you want to inquire with Marty, that's okay. That's fine. So that's for you new listeners, you new viewers. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being brave and courageous. And you old keepers of the space, those who have been here for a long time, thank you for coming back. Marty really appreciates your presence here. I can feel your spirit here as well. It's not so much hesitant, right? It's more like relaxed, right? It's more comfortable. I sense that you join me in this space and you're comfortable here and you really enjoy that time, right? Marty appreciates that too. Right? He feels comfortable with you. And I have so much gratitude for your presence here. Now, if you've stuck around this far, please do Marty a favor and like and subscribe to Marty's channel. Help him to get the message of Marty out there into the world. Right? You could also hit that notification bell so you get notified when Marty releases new content. He's trying to do it on a regular basis, right? And that being said, if you enjoy Marty's Minute MENitations and you want to send your gratitude so Marty can continue to do this, please consider becoming a monthly donor on Patreon. Or you can make a one-time donation at Marty's PayPal account or Buy Me a Coffee account. Anything you can give is greatly appreciated because Marty wants to keep doing this, right? Marty wants to help all of you out there to feel expansive, to release your souls, to open up your souls and go, right? Come on. Marty's trying to send his message out to the world, and there's sirens everywhere. Why is there so much turmoil and chaos in the world? And Marty just wants to give peace, love, and some kind of contentment, right? And that's what I mean by this, right? To quench the soul. Like you'd be quenched with a glass of water. You know, you've been traveling in the desert, your mouth is parched, you feel dehydrated, and you get that glass of water and you finally sip it, you go, That's what we feel like in this society, right? We feel like our souls are dry, dehydrated. They need to be quenched. And when we, it's really hard to find that glass of water to quench our souls. But Marty wants to give you that glass of water to quench your soul. So you can sit there and go, feel expansive and limitless. That's what Marty's here for, okay? And that's what Marty wants to talk about today. Marty wants to dive into, quenching your soul, your body, your mind. These days, people are being told to close off, to shut down, to hide away. Men especially are being told to shut up or be put down or not be themselves, right? When a man speaks his mind, he's mansplaining. When he tries to defend himself, he's being toxic. When he tries to reach that higher level of being, he's just exercising his male privilege. Well, Marty doesn't agree with that. Marty wants men and women and non-gender conforming individuals to reach their true selves, to reach their highest selves, right? Look at my eyes, okay? Look at my eyes. Trust me. Or if you're listening to the podcast, listen to my voice, right? Marty's voice is entering into your ear space. His energy, his soul, his positivity, his love is entering right into your ears. So let Marty inside you through your ears and your eyes. So look at my eyes. If you're watching, look at my eyes. If you're listening, listen to my voice. If you're looking, look at my eyes. I'm looking in yours. If you're listening, listen to my voice. I'm speaking into your ears, okay? Marty loves you. Marty believes in you, okay? Marty doesn't want you to get down on yourself or get scared, okay? Because Marty's here for you. And to you men out there that feel like you can't be yourself, right? Marty wants to say, you're just right. You are baby bear's porridge, just like in the last episode of Marty's Minute MENitations, right? I'm going to put that link up there. So you can click that to listen to or watch the last episode. So you understand what Marty's talking about. You may be going, baby bear porridge. Marty, what are you talking about? Well, that's your answer, okay? So you can check in with that. But Marty thinks you're just right. Marty also recognizes that there's something that gets in the way of us being ourselves. Marty likes to bring up the government and society, and he's not a conspiracy theorist, okay? You have to trust Marty. He's not a conspiracy theorist. He just calls it as he sees it, as they say, right? He recognizes that capitalism is something that stops us from being ourselves. Capitalism is something that wears down our body, our mind, and our spirit. What's that thing that stops us from being ourselves? It's capitalism. What's that thing that wears us down? That every day we get home and we feel like a slave to the system? It's capitalism. What's that thing that pushes us to the brink? That makes us feel like we aren't enough? That makes us feel like we need to keep pushing to the detriment of our health, of our mind, of our soul. Well, let Marty think about this. Let me think about what might do that. Right? Let me search in the office of my mind, right? Let me go to the cabinet of my mind, the filing cabinet of my mind, right? I'm gonna open that cabinet up. I'm gonna go through those files, right? All this paperwork is in there, right? And what do I pull out? I pull out capitalism. It's a piece of paper and it says capitalism on it. That's the thing. That's the thing that's stopping us. And this cabinet is filled with paperwork, just covered in capitalism. It's all capitalism. Right? I mean, I could put this paper back and pull out this folder and it says capitalism on it. And every file in here, every piece of paper has to do with capitalism. In fact, this whole filing cabinet is dedicated to capitalism in this office in my mind. All of those things, all of the things we feel inadequate about, things we can't do, the brain soiling that happens in our brain, it's because of capitalism. Marty, why do you always have to talk about capitalism? Why is this the thing that you have to talk about? What's so special about capitalism? What does this have to do with me? What does it have to do with me and myself? What does it have to do with my body, my mind, my spirit? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because capitalism stops us from truly taking care of ourselves, truly taking care of our body, our mind, and our spirit. Think about it. If you're a man, how do you view your body? Do you view it as a temple, as something sacred and beautiful? No. Probably not, because the government and society sends men's bodies to war. It makes it do all the nasty work, right? The dangerous work. All those jobs out there where a lot of people die, yeah, they're done by men. And that's how we see the male body, as expendable. Yeah, just throw it in front of a machine gun. Throw it in front of the missiles, right? Put it up in the plane that goes flying into the ground. Oh yeah, put him up on the tower. Put him up on the tower. He'll do the work. He's big and burly. He doesn't need to take care of his body. He doesn't need to see his body as a temple. Well, not if you want capitalism to work, right? Capitalism forces male bodies into difficult positions, all for money, all for capital. Yeah, Marty's been doing some reading. And I'm sure you can guess what Marty's been reading, right? Some very, influential authors and thought people who think in depth about things. And Marty isn't going to hold back, okay? Marty isn't going to hold back because capitalism is all about capital. It's in the name. It's in capitalism. You've got capital in capitalism. It's amazing. And we just go about our lives as if it's nothing. So the male body becomes a victim in this game of capitalism. So us men just go, oh, we don't need to take care of our bodies. If I do take care of my body, I'm not a real man. That whole idea starts coming out. Ooh, I'm not a man if I put on lotion. If I take a hot Epsom salt bath. Right? That's not a man. And then there's our mind. We don't take care of our mind. We don't think it needs any care because we're just the doers. Yeah, you don't think about stuff. You just do stuff. You're a man. And the spirit, forget the spirit. Everyone says masculinity is bad. Well, that's a part of our spirit. It's a part of who we are, right? Our soul is our masculinity. So when we're told that it's toxic, when we're told that it's evil, what are we supposed to think of our soul and our spirit? Huh? Are we supposed to take care of it? No, because we think it's evil. So what do? We hate it. We hate our soul and our spirit. We go, forget you, soul and spirit. I don't need you. Maybe you're sitting alone and you start to cry and you go, forget it, spirit. Because you've been told that you're not allowed to cry too because you're a man. So you can't feel those emotions. You can't tap into your soul. So it's either, oh, I'm crying and I'm feeling emotions. Oh, forget you, soul. You're annoying. Or I can overcome those feelings and feel powerful. But that's toxic because then I'm feeling masculine. I'm tapping into my masculinity. So I can't take care of that. Men aren't allowed to take care of any facet of themselves. And that's all capitalism. It's capitalism. It's capitalism. And that's capitalism. It creates a self-care paradox. The self-care-adox. That's right. You may be wondering, Marty, well, what do you do? Do you do your self-care routine? Do you have a thing that you do? Do you take care of your body, mind, and spirit? You betcha. You betcha. Marty wouldn't go a day without taking care of himself, right? Marty likes to start the day with a little bit of a meditation. So he sits down, he closes his eyes, and he just takes in the world around him and he meditates. I meditate without any clothes on, right? Because I don't like to feel restricted. I like my breath to feel boundless. My body merely a malleable membrane. My sensations spread throughout space. And then once I'm done meditating, I like to do 20 minutes of breath work. To breathe, to wake up my body. Wake up my mind. And then once I'm done with breath work, I like to start with my affirmations. I am happy. I am brave. I am courageous. I love myself. And then Marty likes to put on some lotion for the day, right? To lubricate his skin. To treat his skin right. Now, does Marty need the lotion to take care of himself, right? To love himself? No, not necessarily. But he likes to, right? He likes to get that lotion for himself. He likes to get that Epsom salt, okay? He likes to get the supplements, right? That's self-care, right? Sometimes you like to get a nice pair of pants that feel soft and are flexible, right? That's self-care too. That shirt that you're looking at. You haven't really spent much money on yourself, and you see that shirt and you go, wow, I'd be really happy with that shirt. Well, that's self-care too, right? And sometimes you just need to take care of yourself, and that's the way you do it, right? Self-care is kind of whatever you need it to be. Although, Marty thinks it's interesting that you have to kind of buy certain things in order to feel like you take care of yourself. Because it's almost like, capitalism makes you exhausted at the end of the day, right? So you get home at the end of a long day of work and you go, oh, I want that Epsom salt bath. So you have to buy the Epsom salts. And then you buy that Epsom salt, and what are you doing? You're just supporting capitalism at the end of the day. I guess Marty never really thought about that. You know, how you have to kind of buy things and support capitalism in order to give yourself self-care. And it doesn't even feel like you have enough time in the day to take care of yourself because of capitalism, right? You have to work so much, even when you're not working, even when you're not at work, you're still working. You're still trying to figure out how to live your life, how to support yourself, how to keep yourself going. And what happens? Well, you buy a bunch of products, and then you feel good. And it helps with your dopamine, and then your dopamine rises. And I mean, maybe we're just brain soiled into thinking that we need to buy things for self-care. Maybe that's what capitalism does. And here's another file out of the capitalism filing cabinet, right? It makes you buy things. It makes you believe they need to buy things for self-care. Wow. Isn't that amazing that we are brain soiled into thinking that we need to buy things for ourselves for self-care? Well, that's just a self-care adox, isn't it? To think that, maybe self-care is just this capitalist perpetuated ideology coming from the government and society so that we buy more self-care products. Wow. This self-care adox just keeps going deeper and deeper, doesn't it? Just keeps spiraling downwards. And Marty's starting to now think that maybe he shouldn't buy anything for self-care, right? Why should we, right? Do we really need products to take care of ourselves? Or is that just capitalism telling us that we need it so it could supply itself to continue to tell us that we need self-care? In the meanwhile, we're destroying the environment in order to take care of ourselves. But if you destroy your home, are you really taking care of yourself? Or are you putting yourself in danger later on? This is the self-care adox. And then, you get yourself caught in thinking all these things. Thinking all these scary things and feeling sad and feeling depressed and getting concerned and doubtful. And so you have to, look in the mirror and you have to go, I'm happy. I'm happy. You have to revisit those affirmations. It's okay. It's okay. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Are you? What are you doing to myself? Anyway, sometimes, you get caught in that train of thought, right? And Marty says the best self-care that you can do when you're caught in a thought loop, right, is to journal about it, right? Marty has his trusty journal right here. Marty loves to journal in this journal, and he's got pages and pages, right, of stories and lessons, right? Let's see here. Today I was going for a walk and I found a rock that looked like my sister. I bent over to pick it up and someone driving by threw a milkshake at my butt. Lesson: don't try to reconnect with my sister. So there's plenty of lessons, right, and dreams in here, right? And actually, Marty writes in his journal so much that he's actually realizing he needs another journal, right? He needs another journal. That's how much self-care he puts in, right? He needs a journal almost every month, right? It's almost like the journal companies are utilizing self-care for their advantage. Another capitalist company that's just trying to take advantage of you. That's what it is. It's another doorway into this self-care adox, okay? It's these journal companies that tell you, oh yeah, the best kind of self-care is to, write your thoughts down, help yourself and write your thoughts down. Well, you know what? Marty is done with it. Marty is not going to use a journal anymore because he is not going to be brain soiled into thinking that he needs materials for his own self-care, right? Marty can just journal in his mind. You could just journal in your mind. Maybe that is what our potential is. Maybe we don't need paper and pen to write down, right, our thoughts and our ideas. Maybe we just need our mind. Like maybe Marty can just journal in his mind right now. I can't do it because I can't visualize the words. Every time I write down the words, they disappear, right? Have you ever tried to journal in your mind? You should try it. I'm going to try it again. No, see, I can't remember the words I wrote down, right? Which is why I need to write them down in here, which is exactly how capitalism has brain-soiled me into thinking that I need things in order to take care of myself. When we put on lotion, how do we know we're not moisturizing our skin with, the film of consumerism and the toxic of the patriarchy, right? How do we know we're not doing that? And then when Marty thinks about it and he can't write it down in his journal, he just starts to get paranoid. He starts to get paranoid and he starts to freak out and he starts to get really concerned, and then he goes back to his affirmations. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm strong. I'm brave. I am courageous. I'm happy. I'm happy. Are you? He goes back to his affirmations. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm strong. I'm brave. I am courageous. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm brave. I am courageous. I am strong. I love myself. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am courageous. I love myself.